Hi guys, and welcome to a type of a book haul. This one is all ebooks, and these are all ones that I found for free on Amazon. I do get an email every day with notifications of, hey, these books are free on Amazon. They are all ebooks that are free, and there's a wide range of genres that I am notified for. Romance, literary fiction, historical fiction, science fiction, fantasy, etc. So I have enough that I can do a haul here for, I believe, science fiction. Yes, science fiction. So these are all going to be science fiction. So I'm going to tell you if it's part of a series, a standalone, the author. I'll tell you how many ratings and what the average rating is on Goodreads. And then if there's any other tags that I feel like I need to let you know, rather than just science fiction, like if it's a sci-fi romance type of a thing. So let's go ahead and get into this. So I have my computer here. I brought it up from my office, so I will be looking down and then I'll insert covers, obviously, right here as I go through the synopsis. Okay, so this first book I'm going to tell you about is called Descendant of War, written by G.J. Ogden. This is book number 1 in the Descendants of War series. And this one has 386 ratings with an average of 4.29. The only tag listed is that it is a science fiction, which we obviously know that because these are all going to be science fiction. Okay. Let's see, it says, the descendant of history's most infamous soldiers will inherit his ancestors' war. Frustrated by restrictive rules, Maverick warship Commander Dalton Reeves has crossed the line one time too many. Disciplined for violating orders, Reeves is packed off to the Abyss, a dangerous and isolated space city named Concord Station, and officially the worst assignment in the galaxy. Built to foster diplomacy between the 6 galactic realms, Concord is now nothing but a debauched, corrupt hellhole infested by crime lords, degenerates, and outright failures. It's also Commander Reeves' last chance to do something significant with his life. Amidst escalating interstellar tensions, I lost my place, there we go. A long-forgotten enemy emerges from the mysterious shadow space to threaten war. Events are quickly set in motion that will propel Concord Station from obscurity to the most strategically important outpost in the galaxy. Correct words do make a difference. Okay. But as the secret of Reeves' dark origin is revealed, he's thrust into the center of the conflict in more ways than one. Dalton Reeves is a descendant of war, but he's not the only one. The ancient enemy not only seeks conquest, but to exact vengeance upon the sole descendant of 2 infamous soldiers that annihilated the aliens' home world a millennium ago. With the 6 realms on the brink of all-out war, can Commander Reeves face both his demons and his bitter rivals to become the warrior and the leader the galaxy desperately needs him to be? Let's see, multi-species universe filled with danger, intrigue, and drama, played out against a tense backdrop of a looming war. It says if you like Babylon 5 and Deep Space Nine, this could be the series you've been waiting for. I haven't read either of those, so I wouldn't know about that. Okay. Book number 2 I have is called The Boy Who Lit Up the Sky. This is book number 1 in a series called The 2 Moons of Rangnow, I'm guessing is how that is said. This was written by Naoml Ay. And A or I, it's A-Y for the last name. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. This has 404 ratings with an average of 3.89. And this is also tagged as a fantasy. So this is a fantasy sci-fi. It also says this is a young adult, paranormal, and has magic in it. So at least we know the age range, which is good to know going into these. Okay. Let's see. I do see a note to the readers, but I'll read the synopsis and then I'll tell you what the note to the readers says. So the synopsis says, Lydia Kalila, the Princess Royal of Mishnah, is forced into marriage with the son of her country's mortal enemy for the sole purpose of producing an heir. Duty comes before personal choice for a princess, especially when her country has been at war for more than 1,000 years. Lydia's pregnancy removes her brother and new husband from their respective lines of succession, placing her yet unborn infant at the head of the both queues. No one is happy about this, especially Lydia, who dies during childbirth from wounds caused by the talon-like toenails of her very strange newborn son. Oh, ooh, okay. Okay. That's, okay. Grief-stricken at the loss of his daughter, the Mishnese king hastily sends Senya, his infant grandson, off to a decrepit inner-city orphanage with the intent to retrieve him much later when things got sorted out. At the orphanage, Senya is protected by the invalid Sister Mary, who instantly falls in love with the little fellow. She's not bothered by all his strange telekinetic and telepathic powers, flickering pupil-less silver eyes, or wicked clawed toenails. The house father takes a shine to the lad too. When Senya is 6 years old, he is summoned to the father's chamber. The father ends up in flames, forcing Mary and Senya out into a snowstorm, running for their lives. Okay, I'm wondering what caused the father to go up in flames. Thus begins the tale of Senya, a prince created to be king of a planet, but then tossed aside until his 12th birthday, when Lieutenant Tanner, a royal guard detective, is sent to retrieve him. It is unclear to all whether Senya is the product of something good or something evil, but in either case, it is very apparent that he is something more than just Lydia Kalila's son. Okay, note to readers, this title contains graphic language, violence, and sexual situations. It is not intended for children or younger teens. So this probably, I would think, should have been labeled as a new adult at the very oldest, depending on how graphic things get. But I don't know. We shall see. Again, that was free. So, I mean, these all were. Okay, up next I have The Lady of Dungeness, written by Fernando Salazar. It looks like this one might be a standalone. This one only has 6 ratings on Goodreads with an average of 4.17. And there is no synopsis on Goodreads, so I do have the synopsis pulled up on Amazon. And Amazon has 22 ratings with an average of 4.3. Okay. It says, in a future London, ex-professor, ex-drummer, and now barber Colin Petrie plies his trade under the cloud of virus PLQ, a worldwide pandemic that has circulated unchecked for 5 years. But more on Colin's mind is a woman, Beatrice Mirza. Her intelligence, grace, and mild temperament have, for half a year, created an ocean of contentment for Colin. Alas, he knows this will not last forever, for Beatrice is a starship designer, and in a matter of weeks will depart Earth and the solar system forever, part of a mission to colonize a new world free from PLQ. So PLQ is the pandemic virus, bug, whatever it is. Okay. Until Beatrice herself contracts the virus. So it is a virus. Colin calls on his friend, an eccentric virologist, to provide Beatrice an experimental treatment. But there is a price. Colin and Beatrice must travel to the infectious zone, there to find the mysterious Lady of Dungeness. So all I know is it's a pandemic, and they're going to go and try to get a cure or a vaccine or something, and have to go where it's all infected or something. So I'm not quite sure. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. This next one is called Death by Decent Society. This is book number 1 in the Sovereigns of the Collapse. And this was written by Malcolm J. Wardlow. Now, this has 39 ratings with an average of 4.03. And the only tag showing, now keep in mind these all came to me on my email as science fiction, but this one does say it is a dystopian. And that's the only tag on Goodreads is dystopian. So it says, since the financial Armageddon, it's been guns, gold, and slaves. And secrets, lots of dirty secrets. Donald Aldingford lives inside the walled city of London, where he survives as a barrister. He does not possess an estate with thousands of slaves. This means he's not decent. He's a commander. What's more, he's a commoner who knows the secrets of powerful people. That makes him a disposable commoner. Okay. On a flight to see a client, he gets shot down and jailed for violating private airspace. This captivity opens his eyes to what happens on private estates. It's quite a shock to see how decent people treat their slaves. He's outraged to learn his own brother, Lawrence, has been condemned to 8 years of slave labor for crimes he did not commit. Now Donald has a social conscience. After his release, he starts to share this social conscience with an attractive young woman from outside the city walls. She's a leading revolutionary. Powerful eyes are watching Donald. They're going to make him an offer he can't refuse. So, there's that. That actually sounds pretty decent to me. Okay, up next I have Synapse of Ash. This is book number 1 in the Cyber Hunter Origins series. 48 ratings with an average of 3.31. Written by D.B. Goodin. If I haven't said that, there it is. The only tag is that this is a science fiction. The Kindle edition is 114 pages, so this is going to be considered a novella instead of a standard novel. Okay, so this one, the synopsis reads, she must unlock the secrets of her past life before her future is written for her. When cyborg Trika wakes from an interrupted cryonic sleep in a genetics lab, she does so in a brave new world, one where immortality is no longer a concept but a construction. Now, the consciousness of a person can live on in a body that can outperform the limits of human ability. This miracle soon becomes personal to Trika. She was once a living woman, and someone has brought her mind back from the dead. Okay, so it sounds like they transfer like your brain from one body to another, or memories or something, so that'll be interesting. Okay, as memories of her past life resurface, Trika realizes she has a sister, put into stasis, just like she was. At the direction of Dr. Elizabeth Ash, the ambitious designer of the cyborgs, Trika sets out to retrieve the genetic material needed to revive her twin. But the more she has to fight her programmed instincts as a cyborg, the less she trusts the motivations of her creator. Trika has to discover the true plans behind her creation before control over her and other bionic experiments falls into the wrong hands, or risk losing what it means to be human. Okay, that sounds like that'll be a good short story. Okay, moving on, I have Grandfather Anonymous. This is book number 1 in the Old Code series, written by Anthony W. Eichenlaub. 135 ratings with an average of 4.02. This one also, the only other tags is suspense and fiction. So these are all fiction. Okay. Elderly, unarmed, and extremely dangerous. Before AJ retired, he was the best hacker the NSA had ever hired. He sank corporations, toppled governments, and broke cryptography. All of it. And don't think retirement has slowed him down one bit. Thank you very much. When his estranged daughter shows up on his doorstep with his 2 granddaughters, AJ will do anything to keep them safe. He'll hack biotech corporations and criminal enterprises alike. Nobody after his girls will be safe, but the more he digs, the more he dredges up the shadows of his own dangerous past. He only needs to know one thing: what makes his granddaughters so darn valuable? That's a very good question. Definitely something that I would want the answer to if I had granddaughters. Okay, moving on, I have 6. This is book number 1 in the Hammond Legacy. I don't know. Written by Robert Iannone? Something like that. 18 ratings with a 4-star average. No additional genres to tell you about. Okay, I thought this was like, said 97 pages, but it just says it was published December 27th. So, but for whatever reason, I converted the 2 to a 9 in my head. So, all right. A millennium has passed since the reign of Eloise, the last queen of Ariana. In the ensuing years, the Hamigatic Sisterhood, the organization she created, slowly faded away. Now, just a forgotten footnote in history. Even so, the world held true to her vision. That was about to end. Inequality amongst the citizenry is growing. Those with wealth and power are on the cusp of creating a technology so enticing that no one would be able to resist. Once ensnared, the people of Ariana, indeed the entire coven of worlds, would become unwitting pawns in the creation of a galactic empire. But a long-dead queen was not about to let her legacy die, nor abandon her people in their time of need. Author's note, the series is meant for a more mature audience. Than the first 2 series. Okay. So I guess there's 2 series before this. So, more mature audience. For whatever reason. Not quite sure. It doesn't explain why. If it's graphic or the situations or whatever. It doesn't say. Okay, moving on, I have Prime Example. This is book number 1 in the Rim Jumper series, written by Tim Rangnow. 151 ratings with an average of 4.38 and no additional tags. The synopsis states, even the best bounty hunter in the galaxy can be surprised by the unexpected. Attacked and left for dead in the blackness of space, bounty hunter Cole Anwin races to pursue the ship that came out of nowhere. There are many in the galaxy who would want him dead, but his wounded pride won't let him forgive the attempt. When the trail leads him to a backwater planet on the galactic rim, he goes in search of a local guide. The young taxi driver, with her pink dreadlocks and equally vibrant personality, uses her knowledge of the underworld to assist his hunt for the unknown assassin. From a small-time crime boss to a web of intrigue that spreads across dozens of systems, they have their work cut out for them. Treachery and betrayal await Cole, along with a choice that he never thought to face. Will the end of his hunt be more unexpected than the beginning? Max is restless today, so you're going to be hearing him bark throughout the video. Okay, up next I have The Landfill. It looks like this one is going to be a standalone. And this was written by Erik R. Eide, I'm guessing. E-I-D-E? Eide? Something like that. 9 ratings with an average of 4.33. No additional tags to tell you about. Okay. The Landfill is a fast-paced science fiction adventure through time, galaxies, and societies. A book glazed like a lemon-filled donut with the bizarre to the profound. Thick layers of chocolate excitement for your brain and heavy meatloaf-like concepts for your heart. There's love and great evil within the strange tale, exploring mind, body, spirit. Come along for the ride and bring your own cup of coffee. So that's the synopsis. It does have about a paragraph that's an excerpt directly from the book, but I don't want to read that because that will definitely lead to more than likely spoilers. So we're going to skip that excerpt. Okay. Up next I have Outbreak. This was written by Joshua C. Chad. I think there's a book written by Michael Crichton also called Outbreak. I could be wrong on that. Let me know if you know for sure, but I'm pretty positive. But this one was written by Joshua C. Chad. This is book number 1 in the Brothers Creed series. This one looks like, from the cover that I'm seeing on Goodreads, like it's going to be military or army. This one does say it is also so keep in mind, again, these are all science fiction, but this one also says dystopia, post-apocalyptic. It also has a tag of Christian fiction and zombies. So if you like zombie books, maybe, okay. The synopsis reads, 645 ratings with an average of 4.05. Almost forgot that. Okay. How far would you go to save the ones you love? Pretty dang far in most of the cases. 2 brothers learn of the apocalypse after being out of touch for a few days. Returning to town, they learn firsthand the dead are coming back to life with a taste for flesh. With their parents in Nebraska, they must embark on a journey to rescue them as they set into motion their zombie apocalypse plan. But they'll see not all is fun and games as they realize it is nothing like they imagined it would be. Well, more than likely, duh. Okay. Can they make it in time to save their parents from a fate worse than death? Emmett Wolf has been preparing for this day for years, but still cannot believe it is happening. An infection, unlike any other, has begun to spread across America, and the world, as he knows it, is coming to an end. He must rescue his daughter and ex-wife and transport them to a safe location. Okay, I'm up. I've only read one zombie series, and that was one written by Mira Grant. It was the Newsflesh series. For those of you who may not know, Mira Grant is a pen name for Seanan McGuire. So I really enjoyed that series, and I haven't read any other zombie books that at least come to my mind. So I'm up for other zombie books. I have read the synopsis of several zombie books that sound good, but I haven't read them yet. So that I'm intrigued just because it's zombies, because I really enjoyed the Newsflesh series. So I do want to read more zombie books. Okay, in this next grouping, I have two books where there is no synopsis on Goodreads, so I also have them pulled up on Amazon. Instead of having like 30 plus tabs open, I'm only doing like 10 at a time. So yeah, so there will be 30 books and 31 books is what I have on my list for this one. Okay. This first one, some of these synopsises are really short, like this one. This book is called The Flaming Cat of Sohan. And this was written by Mark William Hammond. It has 13 ratings with an average of 2.54. But again, very few ratings. This one says, all life on Earth is going to be destroyed when it becomes an adventure park for aliens. It's up to spiritual entrepreneur Swami Rangnow and his junior achievers to save absolutely everything. That's the synopsis. That is it. So, not quite sure what to expect. Okay. This next book I have is called Raven, written by Sue Loh. This one has 56 ratings with an average of 4.36. No additional tags, just like on the other one. No other tags to tell you about. The synopsis for Raven, this one does look like it's a standalone. This one says, how do you fix a computer glitch that disappears before you get a good look at it? How do you negotiate with a hacker who doesn't seem to want anything? Colorful 16-year-old Fireball and her elite team of classmates from Cinzento's Secure Corporate Academy must do exactly that. So, because it says 16, I'm guessing this is going to be a YA, but I don't know for sure. Okay, moving on, it says, they're investigating a hack that at a prestigious bank, and the bizarre network issues they've obscured are turning out to be something stranger than Team Raven has ever encountered. That something grows more serious by the minute, reaching tendrils outside the bank and into critical infrastructure. As the team races to keep the hack from costing lives, a new question is added to the mix. Why is someone stalking their newest team member? Alrighty. We shall see. Okay. Next up I have Dormant Diversion, written by Sarah Laurer Nakawatase and Diane Laurer. So, a family maybe? Who knows? Okay, no additional tags. This one says, extraterrestrial DNA mutates life on Earth into a cosmic playground. Oh, 29 ratings with an average of 4.48. Sorry, forgot that. Okay, let me start the synopsis over. Extraterrestrial DNA mutates life on Earth into a cosmic playground, and an obscure frequency draws in the players. U.S. Secretary of Energy Ed Marker is living his dream as head of the most ambitious power initiative in the world. He is overseeing the rollout of the Harvester project, which will provide clean, efficient, and unlimited energy. When his new technology activates alien DNA, the price of free energy becomes too high. There's a price for everything, isn't there? Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. So, okay. Sounds like the price is not good in this case. Okay. This uncatalogued genetic code is reshaping the planet as the world's oceans turn a deep crimson and seismic activity shakes the globe. People are developing photosynthetic properties, growing scales, and using previously inaccessible portions of the human mind. These alarming changes are accelerating with each passing day. Millions of years of evolution are occurring near these monstrosities in only months. Okay, and it is up to Ed and a team of scientists to stop these transformations before the human race is unrecognizable. This is a series. Okay. Yeah, this is a series. It's not a standalone because it does say this is the first book in the Harvester series. And it says the authors have turned biology and physics upside down, weaving a contemporary story of genetically unimaginable proportions. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next book. And that is called Day of the Devourer. Looks like this one might actually be a standalone. This was written by D.F. Pieper, I'm guessing is how that name is said. 58 ratings with an average of 4.22. The synopsis reads, in exchange for his freedom, he has 3 days to find and destroy a mysterious alien weapon. Reg Antares, a disgraced former galactic agent, has landed in prison on a remote third world planet. Now galactic intelligence has intercepted chatter that a merciless alien race plans to deploy a mysterious weapon to eradicate an entire colony of humans. In exchange for his freedom, Reg is now dragged back into service and has only 3 days to find out what the weapon is and how to stop it. Reg must partner with a regulation-obsessed weapons specialist and an unpredictably clairvoyant antique dealer in a race across the galaxy to solve this mystery before time runs out. Says that this is fast-paced, interstellar adventure. It'll keep you turning pages from beginning to end. It's sci-fi action adventure like Murderbot and The Expanse combined with a James Bond style spy thriller. So, I don't know. I know James Bond style stuff. I think I saw one James Bond movie, but it was very risque. So I really couldn't watch anymore, and my mom was like surprised I even saw that one. I don't even remember who I saw that with, but I basically was not allowed to watch James Bond because of how schmecksy those could get, so I'm not quite sure. Anyway, okay, let's move on. This one does not have a synopsis on Goodreads, but this is called Dead Run, and this is I don't know if it's part of a series. It says this is a post-apocalyptic plague thriller. On Goodreads, this one has 58 ratings with an average of 4.6. Okay, moving on to Amazon for Dead Run. Oh, this is part of a series because it does, on Amazon it says the series is called Afterworld Apocalypse. Dead Run is book number 1. This is written by Camille Picott, I'm guessing is how that is said. So yeah, on Goodreads it has an average of 4.6 out of 69 ratings. Okay, the synopsis read, plagues plow the earth, humans are their prey, power must be taken. In the afterworld, only mercenaries leave the walled cities and have rights to the salvage needed for survival. Solon can only dream of becoming one of them, until she discovers the meat grinder. It's a race from one end of San Francisco to the other, through the streets infested with flesh-eating plagues. Oh, okay. I'm hoping that gets pretty descriptive because I think that would be very interesting to read, but that's my preference. Okay. If Solon can finish the race, she'll become a mercenary. Does she have what it takes to survive, or will she be more meat for the meat grinder? It says, if you like dystopian future of Mad Max and the gritty characters of 28 Days Later, you'll love this action-packed story. I don't know either of those. Isn't 28 Days Later a movie? I don't know if it's a book. Is it a book? Is it a movie based on a book? I don't know. I don't know about either of those. So, but if you know, then maybe you'll know or have a better understanding if you'll like this particular series or book or not, or what. Okay, this next one also does not have a series or a synopsis on Goodreads. What I can tell you from Goodreads is one, the title is called American Starfleet Independence, written by Dalton Lewis, 16 ratings with an average of 3.06. Now let's switch over to Amazon. It looks like this is probably a standalone from what I can see just from the quick cursory glance. Amazon has 36 ratings with an average of 3.5. So the ratings did go up just a smidge with a few more. All right, the synopsis. Summer 2242. The Trados race of aliens invaded last December, destroying 6 battlecruiser spaceships and hundreds of interceptor fighters and bombers at the Diamond Space Station, Earth's main line of defense. Now 80 spaceships have gathered into an enormous space fleet to fight back, Starfleet Independence. Their target is the vital Tardos-controlled planet Goodin, a jungle with a precarious starport and stealth ship production facilities. What follows is a cataclysmic series of battles that test the Marines of Starfleet Independence. Check out this military science fiction novel. So, there you go. Okay. So, definitely military. I did gather that from the synopsis. Okay. This next one I have is called The Posh Prepper. The Posh Prepper. Written by Todd Knight. Possibly a standalone. It does say this is an apocalyptic thriller. So science fiction apocalyptic thriller. No additional tags to tell you about. 429 ratings with an average of 4.44. This synopsis reads, an apocalyptic virus, a crisis consultant, a 24-hour head start. In 2035, so a fairly near future, we're in 2023, so 12 years into the future. Okay. In 2035, a hopelessly broken world, Nick Ritter is the Posh Prepper, a gifted crisis consultant who sells disaster survival plans to rich and powerful clients. Haunted by corrupt clients and a tragic past, Nick lives a reclusive life in overcrowded Boston, counting the days until he can retire to a survival ranch in New Zealand. But when he gets an insider tip that a deadly virus is tearing through Boston, Nick has 24 hours to escape the city and flee to New Zealand. He has the perfect survival plan, but there's just one problem. It doesn't account for company. As he scrambles towards safety, Nick picks up a ragtag group of followers. And then it looks like it lists the followers and a bit of them here. So, we also have Abby Blackwell, a pregnant teen runaway, is hiding a dark secret. If she can outrun her troubled past, she can start a new life. But trusting anyone could put everyone in danger. Okay. Brian Donahue, a washed-up Navy SEAL, is scraping by as an escape pilot. Torn between family and duty, he'll risk everything to complete his final mission. Dana Foster, an overworked ER doctor, is haunted by human suffering. As the outbreak spreads, she faces an impossible choice. Who should they save? Now, Nick must call... So those are the tag-alongs, I guess. Okay. Now Nick must call on his disaster planning skills to survive, facing off against a collapsing society to protect his newfound family... found family, and save mankind from extinction. It says this is a dark, tense, slow burn apocalyptic thriller with an unforgettable cast of complex characters. Perfect for fans of The Stand, The Road, Swan Song, A.G. Riddle, and Kyla Stone. If you know any of those, then maybe you'll have an idea. I don't know about any of those. So, okay. Moving on, I have The Dark of Light, written by Audrey Sharp. 450 ratings with an average of 4.34. This is book number 1 in the Starhawk Rising series. This one also says that this is a paranormal mystery romance, in addition to the sci-fi. Okay. Okay, my heart rate has jumped up to 106. No wonder I'm feeling a bit lightheaded, but I'm good. I'll be fine. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. The synopsis for The Dark of Light states, one light can reveal 100 dark secrets. Okay, you know what? I better check. Do I have... I don't know where it is. I thought I had an oximeter. Okay, I have an oximeter somewhere. I was going to check my oxygen level to see if maybe that's... But I'm not sure where it is, so I've got to think. Okay, let's go ahead and just continue on. Okay, sorry for that interruption. Let me start the synopsis over. Again, this is The Dark of Light. This book 1 in the Starhawk Rising series, and the synopsis reads, one light can reveal 100 dark secrets. Captain Aurora Hawk loves a challenge, but her first mission comes with an unexpected catch. She has to accept the help of Cade Ellis, a man she spent years trying to forget. She doesn't want his help. She wants to blow him out an airlock, or let John Reel, Clark, her overprotective engineer, tear him to pieces with his bare hands. Instead, she must convince the two hot-headed males to work together without killing each other. She'll do whatever it takes. The survival of a planet depends on it. But what starts out as an investigation into a potential biological attack quickly reveals a much more insidious threat, thrusting Aurora into a face-to-face confrontation with a mysterious enemy of incredible destructive power. And triggering an unearthly ability she's kept secret for 20 years. I'm wondering what that secret is that she doesn't want, obviously, anyone to know about. What did I do? I just created a new window. I didn't want to do that. Okay, this next book I have is called The Adventures of Will Calder. This is a space opera adventure, and that is literally... Oh, humor is the other tag on this one. Okay. Written by John Wilker. This has 893 ratings with an average of 4.17. It says, for fans of Farscape and Killjoys will love The Crew of the Ghost. Okay. Not quite sure what that's going to mean, because I don't know any either of those either. Will Calder was an astronaut testing Earth's first faster-than-light engine in an experimental space pod when he ended up stranded on the opposite side of the solar system. Even if NASA could come to get him, they don't know where to look. But that was years ago. Now, Will is a lonely intergalactic outlaw and smuggler looking for a crew because space is lonely and boring. He's got a ship, now he needs some friends, or at least people to work with, maybe boss around a little. What he isn't looking for is a plot that would destabilize the entire galactic commonwealth, a scheme he and his crew aren't remotely qualified to stop. But who looks at qualifications these days? They can't turn their backs on the galaxy, can they? Between epic space battles, a quest for redemption, and a daring heist, the crew uncovers a dangerous secret. If you join the crew of the Ghost on the first of many fantastic adventures, so it does sound like this is going to end up being a series, so this is probably a brand new series. Well, this one was published in 2017, so I'm not quite sure. But it does say, if you tried to cross Buck Rogers' TV show from the early 80s with the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, you come close to the rollicking good fun of this classic space opera. I don't know about either of those. I haven't seen either of those, so I'm not quite sure. Okay, is that the last one? Oh, nope, I jumped to the last one. There was one I missed. Okay, going back one in this grouping, I have Forager. This is book number 1 in the Forager series, written by Peter R. Stone. This one has 911 ratings with an average of 3.91. This one does say this is a young adult. Very good to know the age range. In addition to science fiction, it says this is a dystopian post-apocalyptic and romance. It does say more. Fantasy is the other tag that popped up. Okay. The synopsis says, 18-year-old Ethan Jones lives in New Home, a town built upon the decaying ruins of post-apocalyptic Melbourne. Ruins haunted by the ferocious Skell, a nomadic tribe of degenerate savages. Okay. The Skell are ramping up their attacks on New Home's foraging teams and infesting Melbourne's ruins in ever greater numbers. This is part of a larger plan that could spell... Oh, is this part of a larger plan that could spell the town's doom? Meanwhile, the last thing Ethan expects when he and his companions rescue a 2-car convoy from Skell is a Japanese teenage girl with an outlandish dress sense, who, after they take her back to New Home, goes to great lengths to ingratiate herself into his life. But is it in gratitude for saving her life, or is she seeking something more? And on the cover that I'm seeing, she's got like this baby blue zebra striped, so like blue and black on the outside hoodie, with a hot pink inside. She has like aviator or aviation goggles on her head, and hot pink hair. So, yeah. Okay. I wish I had the confidence to pull something off on that, but I do not. Okay. Moving on with the synopsis, it says, "And what quandary she places him in, for he knows the rules, that no man is permitted to be alone." Well, hello, Spoofy. She just sneaked out from under my bed. Okay, let's see. No man is permitted to be alone with an unmarried woman. But how can he drive such a gentle soul away when she touches his heart so deeply, even though she clearly carries the pain of a broken heart? At the same time, New Home's police force, the Custodians, are suspicious of Ethan's foraging team's successes and are pulling out the stops to find out which member of his team has the illegal mutant ability that gives them an edge over the other teams. Should these peacekeepers discover Ethan is the mutant they seek, they will haul him away and dissect him like a frog. Okay, wasn't expecting that, but alright. Alright, I've got another grouping to pull up for this, so I will be back in half a second for you. But I'm going to pull this other grouping back, and it'll be the last grouping in this video, so I will be right back. This next one is called The Lure of Infinity, written by Stan C. Smith. This is book number 1 in the Bridgers series. The additional tags say that this one has fantasy, aliens, alternate history, and time travel. So time-bending fiction, it sounds like. 434 ratings with an average of 4.28, so pretty good for that many ratings. Okay. Some worlds are better left alone. Infinity Fowler has been fighting all her life. As a child, she had to fight for survival. Then she fought professionally. But when humans obtained the technology to bridge alternate versions of Earth, she saw a chance for a new life. She signed up to become a bridger, an elite fighter and survival expert who protects tourists bridging to alternate worlds. Desmond Weaver is a tourist making a last-ditch effort to complete his PhD in evolutionary biology. He has booked the excursion of a lifetime, a data collection mission to a vastly different version of Earth. If he fails, his career will be over. Infinity is Desmond's assigned trainer and bridger. She is one of the best, willing to die protecting tourists, and also willing to kill. When it's time to bridge, Desmond and his 2 college roommates feel well prepared, but they aren't. Naked and weaponless on an extraordinary world teeming with lethal predators, the team becomes entangled in a life and death struggle more terrifying than anything they could ever have imagined. Alright, that one actually sounds pretty intriguing to me. Okay. This next one does not have a synopsis on Goodreads. What it does tell me on Goodreads is that this is Crow's Gambit. It says this is a near-future science fiction written by P.A. Teb, not quite sure. 15 ratings with an average of 4.13. So, switching over to Amazon for this particular book. This is part of a series. It's the Sylphan Revelations book number 1. Again, this is Crow's Gambit, and Goodreads has 34 ratings with an average of 4.3. The synopsis, or not Goodreads, Amazon. So the synopsis on Amazon says, on Net Day, the alien Sylph surrounded the Earth and destroyed everything in orbit or in the air, grounding the human race. The world had to adapt and reinvent itself in a new reality that didn't allow for the planes and satellites people had come to take for granted. In this world, Cassie is one of a new breed of brainstormers, drone pilots that fly low and fast in violation of human law and alien weapons. Trying to bridge the past and future, she searches for a place in this new world. When an eccentric billionaire approaches Cassie to help him reclaim humans' place in the heavens, she is pulled into a world of political intrigue and cutting-edge technology, all of it constrained by an indifferent alien species. When using her engineering skills and innate piloting ability, they could be on the verge of finally breaking free again. However powerful, forces on Earth don't want a change in the new status quo. And then there's the Sylph. If humans return not only to the skies but space, how will they react? Crow's Gambit is the first book in the it's the first book in a trilogy. Okay, so there is that one, and I don't know if you were able to tell from all the books before. I have not. I just was like, oh, okay, the alien. It's free. I like the title. I like the cover. It's whatever book number 1 is a series, or I have the first one free at some point, and so this is the next in a series type of a thing. But I have not read the synopsis on any of these until this particular video. So. And that's going to be the case with every video like this one, where it's hauls like this. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on. So I'm finding out about these books for the first time with you. Okay. Up next I have The Alien Core, written by P.J. McDermott. This is book number 1 in the Prosperine. I know I said that wrong because that doesn't sound right. But it's book number 1 in a series. 223 ratings with an average of 3.81. Additional tags are alien, fantasy, war, and military. Okay. Earth's intergalactic agency is negotiating with the government on the planet Prosperine for exclusive mining rights to the rare mineral Coryndium needed to power their faster-than-light surfboard technology. Okay. Hard words today. Hard words. Okay. Intelligence suggests a radical element is plotting to overthrow the government. While a mystic known as the Teacher has been seen performing miracles, they approach the alien core to assist with their investigation. More is at stake than Earth's trading supremacy. If this Teacher turns out to be the one the alien core have been looking for so long, it could signal the end of all life in the galaxy. Commander Hickory Lace and her team are sent to investigate. It says if you enjoy tales of future dystopias packed with action and adventure, you'll love the Alien Core's mystery, adventure, PSI, psi abilities, an alien who could be the incarnation of Jesus, and a classic writing style that evokes Simak, Henelian, and Anderson. Not sure what all of that is supposed to mean, but whatever. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move on. This next one is called Passport to Terror. It does say this is a time travel adventure written by Christy Cooper Burnett. 37 ratings with an average of 4.22. As far as tags, there are no additional tags on this one. So all I know is it's a science fiction, and obviously it's going to have time travel just from that little snippet there. Okay. What really happened to Jack the Ripper? Oh, okay, I'm already intrigued. Okay. They will always say be careful what you wish for. I wish I had been careful. I could have easily sold my time travel machine for billions and walked away. Instead, I opened the Taylor Travel Group where I take the elite on vacations into history to a time and place of their choice. But when a big-time movie studio hired my company, I sold my soul. What was supposed to be a few days of method actor immersion in 19th century London went horribly awry. Now America's hottest starlet is dead, and Jack the Ripper is on the loose in modern-day Los Angeles, and it's all my fault. Well, that's a twist. Okay. Okay. Now I'm intrigued. I was careless enough to let history's most ruthless killer slip out of the past. Am I smart enough to match wits with him and send him packing before he vanishes forever? Okay, that does sound pretty dang good. Okay, moving on, I have A Zombie Maelstrom, written by Brian Cassidy. This is book number 1 in the Zombie Apocalypse series. 127 ratings with an average of 3.53. As far as tags, obviously you can tell from the title this is going to have zombies. It does list this as post-apocalyptic, sci-fi, and dystopia as well, or dystopian, however it is the heck you want to say it. Okay. Virulent pockets of plague, first reported in China, break out worldwide and spread with mind-boggling speed. Now here's my question. Usually when it's a plague, I'm reading a book right now, Severance, where this is another virus plague book, except this one's not virus, it's like a mold thing, but I believe it also started in China. Why are all of these plagues starting in China? I feel like that's redundant. Let's have a plague that starts in the US, or a plague that starts in England or Scotland or somewhere else. Let's visit somewhere else and have the plague start somewhere else. That would be more interesting to me. But where it starts in China, I'm like, okay, another thing that, you know, whatever. I would just like to see if an author is going to write a book about plagues that start somewhere, let's have them start somewhere other than China, because I think that's been quite overdone by this point. Anyway, okay. First reported in China, break out worldwide and spread with mind-boggling speed. CIA Black Ops agent Chad Halverson flies to Los Angeles to visit his brother after receiving a call that his brother has been hospitalized after a car accident. Halverson's Boeing 737 crash lands in an eerie Los Angeles, shrouded with an impenetrable haze of smog. But that is only the tip of the iceberg on Halverson's nightmare. Lurking in the mist are legions of plague-infected living dead who are driven by an all-consuming lust for human flesh. Halverson's reunion with his brother must take second place to his own struggle to stay alive. Well, duh. As civilization crumbles into chaos, it will take all the skills and wits Halverson and his fellow passengers possess for their hunted party to survive in a world overrun with hordes of flesh-craving zombies, which will pose a bigger threat to Halverson and his ever-dwindling band, their own bickering as they try to organize and defend themselves, their enemies, the living dead, or the new civilization of men that is superseding the old. Okay, I got a little confused by that. I'm going to move on because I'm just like, my brain's turning into mush. Okay, this next one is called, now the title that came through on my email is Into the Machine, but this does say it is called Divergence Part 1. This is written by E.B. Wolf. This only has 5 ratings with an average of 3.2. So obviously take all of these with a grain of salt. This one is a novella because it says the Kindle edition is 121 pages. The synopsis reads, the civilized world has met its bitter end. What remains of humanity has escaped into technological utopias sparsed around the globe. However, the system could accept only so many people and continue to operate at optimal level. Many were forced to live on the fringes of the surrounding wastelands, to hustle and gripe for their undeserving lives under the ground. The machine will continue to keep the Divergence family under the boot of the ruling Council of Unity unless a hero arises. So obviously we're going to have a hero, or the chosen one, or whatever it is. But there's no additional tags on there. So, okay, up next I have The Enemy of an Enemy, written by Vincent Tregilly? I don't know. This is book number 1 in the Lost Tales of Power. Now, I do see that this is going to have at least 8 books or volumes. Volume 1 is the enemy of an enemy, and it does say Volume 8 and beyond is TBA, so to be announced. So there's at least a total of 7 that are out. Plans on at least 8 or more. So as far as tags go, in addition to science fiction, we have fantasy and space opera, magic, military, and adult. So finally another age category confirmed. 960 ratings with an average of 3.63. This one says, Vidor is riding a wave of success, but now his ship, the Dragonclaw, is being sent to investigate a mysterious event deep within the Empire's space. A secret research colony has fallen silent, and the forces sent to investigate were never heard from again. Okay. A new enemy has come to the Empire, bringing with it dark powers that were abandoned long before the Empire was born, powers that were thought to be legends and myths. It's up to Vidor to keep this force at bay, and protect the Empire, but it may come at the cost of his faith and shake the foundations of the Empire itself. It says that this is an open-ended series, so it's not complete, an open-ended series of sci-fi fantasy books set in a vast multiverse featuring a mixture of traditional fantasy and science fiction elements. Okay, again, whatever that means. Anyway, all right, moving on, I have Unreal, written by Cindy Gunderson. This one has 54 ratings with an average of 3.93. As far as genres, additional tags, this does say it is a fantasy dystopia, obviously as well as science fiction, but this is also a young adult. Thank goodness for having the age range on there. I like that, so I kind of know what to expect going into it. Okay. Augmented reality has transformed the world from drab to gorgeously stunning. But when you can't trust what you see, can you believe anything or anyone? Chanel is unreal. After the devastating Campi eruption, people flocked to new communities, offering retinal implants to modify their world into something beautiful again. Living in Paradise 3 community, Chanel's only goal is to become a world builder and improve the augmented reality code for everyone living there. Her opportunities seem endless until new implant technology is announced, this time with the ability to augment all the senses. With dashed dreams and her skills rendered virtually useless, Chanel is left with none of her prior options, but has one salacious opportunity. Mia is real. Real versus unreal. Okay. Mia is real, living with her parents who fought to remain independent from the communities. Her world is the antithesis of privileged. With a dwindling peer group, a lack of resources, and seemingly no hope for her future, she jumps at the chance to travel with her brother Alec in search of other free, real societies. Though they have outdated information and virtually zero knowledge of what could lie ahead, Alec and Mia leave the only home they've ever known under cover of night. When Mia and Chanel's paths collide, they become torn between the worlds they thought they knew and the brazen reality they could never have imagined. Will they risk it all to understand what it truly means to be real? It says Unreal is the first book in the riveting Unreal series. If you like mind-bending storylines, strong female characters, and clean romance, you'll adore this page-turning psychological saga. So that's the additional information on that one. Okay. I'm guessing this one is called Sidonia. It's Sidonia Rising. I'm guessing that's Sidonia. This is book number 1 in the Andalos series, written by Dave Walsh. 99 ratings with an average of 3.99. Okay. The only other tag on this one is space opera. And, okay. The Emperor has fallen, poisoned by his son, bent on claiming the galaxy for himself. Well, that sucks. Okay. Katrin? I don't know. Katrin is the heir to the throne, or was, until her brother killed their father and claimed it for himself. She had promised her father to restore order only to end up in exile, dodging her brother's assassins. Now she must fulfill her father's dying wish, bring freedom to the Republic. On the other side of the Republic, a lost Cregan princess conspires with her former enemies to take the galaxy back for themselves, for the good of the people of Andalos. Is it too late to save the galaxy? It says for fans of kick-ass heroines and classic space opera tales, because everyone loves a girl that can wield a giant laser axe. Okay, all right. Moving on, I'm on the final 2 books that will be in this particular video. And this one is Murder on the Intergalactic Railway. This is a Ritchie and Fitz sci-fi murder mystery written by Kate McLeod. And so it's book number 1, and that's in the Ritchie and Fitch sci-fi murder mystery series. Additional tags, fantasy and mystery. Okay. 104 ratings with an average of 3.91. For Merdina Ritchie, acceptance at the, I swear, some of these words, Oimayakon, Foreign Severance Academy, means one last chance for her dream of becoming a diplomat for the Union of Free Worlds. Heck, another word. Okay, for Shackleton Fitz the Fourth, it represents his last chance not to fall out of military service entirely. Strange that fate should throw them together now, among the last group of students admitted at the start of the semester. They had once shared the strongest of friendships, but that all ended a long time ago. Okay. But when an insufferable but politically important woman turns up murdered, the two agree to put their differences aside and work together to solve the case, because the murderer might strike again, but more importantly, solving a murder would just have to impress the dour colonel, who clearly thinks neither of them belong in his academy. So military, I'm guessing, should be another tag on that. Okay, this last one I had to tell you about is called The Darkest Winter. This was written by Lindsay Pogg, I'm guessing is how that is said. This is book number 1 in the Savage North Chronicles series. This one has 1,542 ratings with an average of 4.32. As far as additional tags, dystopian, horror, zombies, apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic, fantasy, and of course science fiction. Okay. The virus, another virus, okay. The virus spread, billions died, the ending began. A group of orphan misfits, the wild lands of the last frontier. Superhuman abilities, harrowing adventures, and heartbreaking secrets. Well, hello, Ophi. Oh, yeah. Come on. Do you want to come up here and say hi? What you doing? Nope. What are you doing? What you gonna do? Want to come say hi? Come on. Kitty, 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 kitty. There she is. Come here. Come say hi. Oh, goodness. Goodness. You don't want to say hi, but look, there you are. There you are. Oh, okay. Oh, I think I know what you're wanting. Okay. All right, moving on. Back to the synopsis. It says, Elle. Haunting shadows are nothing new to Elle St. James. She has been running from them all her life. But since the outbreak spread from the lower 48, new monsters lurk in the darkness. After Elle wakes from the fever, capable of horrific deeds, she fears she's one of them. When she stumbles upon 4 orphans, Elle's forced to discover what happens when her greatest fear becomes her darkest secret and her only hope of surviving. Jackson. So this sounds like it's going to be a dual POV. Okay, so Jackson. After the world goes mad and takes his family with it, Jackson decides a bottle of bourbon and the depths of despair are preferable to any semblance of living. But when Jackson wakes from the black hole of oblivion with a gun in his face, he must choose whether he wants to die or fight to find something worth living for. Brought together under the worst possible circumstances, Elle and Jackson must face the inexplicable realities of the new world. Their past lives are over, and the Arctic isn't all that's savage anymore. So that is all of the books for this particular video. Let me know if you have read any of these books, what your thoughts on them are, if you've read from any of these authors before. So that'll be it. I'm not sure what grouping will be next as far as the genre goes, if it's going to be like young adult or if it's going to be horror or whatever. I've got a whole bunch to go through. So, but yeah, so this was the next one in this series. So let me know your thoughts. Just talk to me in the comments section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I'll talk to you later.